Hey everybody, welcome back to part 2 of my trip report from Los Angeles to Singapore via Tokyo-Narita. Our next segment from Tokyo to Singapore is going to be operated by ANA on a Boeing 787-9. And don't forget, this second part of the trip report does include a diversion, so stay tuned. So after we disembarked from our flight from Los Angeles, I walked around the terminal a little bit, got some nice views of the tarmac as well as the ANA aircraft that were parked at their various gates, and then we headed on over to the ANA lounge near gates 55, 54, and 55 here at Tokyo-Narita Airport. So we finally got to the escalator that's going to take us up to the lounge. Since I have Star Alliance Gold status, I'm able to use the ANA lounge at Tokyo-Narita Airport. And sadly, actually, the United lounge is still closed here. In the lounge, they had various food options as well as this really cool beer tap, as you can see. It pours you a nice Asahi beer at the perfect angle and everything. And then I tried to get some shots of the food here, but man, the lounge was so packed that it was really hard to film without running into other people. The food that we did get, we got some fried noodles as well as some fried chicken, and then they had these various little kind of rice balls here that one had a bean in it and the other one had salmon. They were very good. The lounge is quite nice despite all the people in it, and that's probably because the United lounge is closed here at Tokyo-Narita Airport still. But it's a nice, very spacious lounge, lots of areas to sit, and it had beautiful views of the tarmac, and I highly recommend it for anybody transiting through the airport. So speaking of the beautiful views of the tarmac, I walked over to the windows to show you guys what it looks like. You could see here various ANA 787s parked, and yeah, it's just really nice view, especially with the setting sun here. So I highly recommend it. After we left the lounge, we started walking around the airport again. We had about a 3.5-hour connection, and there's our Boeing 787 from Los Angeles that is going back to LAX, as well as there was an ANA 777-300ER on the other side. So we finally made it over to our gate. We were at gate 53 for our NH801 flight to Singapore. So boarding commenced. We walked through the business class as well as the premium economy that ANA has, and we made our way over to seat 25K. So immediately after sitting in my seat, I realized that ANA actually has great seat pitch, 34 inches, very, very nice. That's equivalent to United's Economy Plus. They give us a nice pillow as well as a nice blanket, and the screen was fully functional and very good for a short 6-hour flight to Singapore. So after a pushback and taxi, we taxied over to runway 34L for takeoff. I forgot to mention the registration number of this plane is JA895A. JA895A. And please excuse the horrible glare there. ANA, for some reason, doesn't turn off the cabin lights when we take off compared to US Airlines. So again, I'm sorry about that. So shortly after takeoff, my wife and I decided to go to sleep, and then about 45 minutes into the flight, the pilot came on the intercom and said that we were going to be diverting back to Tokyo-Narita Airport. And the reason being that the weather radar on the plane was actually having an issue, so that they couldn't continue to Singapore. So we made a few turns, we circled a little bit and burned some fuel, and then we eventually landed back at Tokyo-Narita Airport. And actually, I apologize, I did not get the landing video because once again the glare was just so bad that it wasn't even worth it. So we landed back at Tokyo after about an hour and a half of flying and making a few turns, as you can see here. And just for you guys' reference, here's the Flight Radar 24 screenshot that I took of it. So after we landed at the airport, they were going to get us a new plane, and they actually reopened the lounge for people who had Star Alliance Gold or lounge access. So that was a really nice touch. Kudos to ANA. It was really very nice gesture of them to reopen the lounge at around 9:30, 10 p.m. time in Japan. So once we were back inside the lounge, actually they didn't have any food options because they had cleaned up for the night. But here's what the lounge looks like with way less people in it. And then here is what Tokyo-Narita looks like after 10 p.m. It is an absolute ghost town. And so we eventually started making our way back to our gate because then our plane left at 11:30 p.m. And we had a new plane going back to Singapore. So ANA brought us a new plane and we boarded. The registration number of our new plane going to Singapore was JA882A, another Boeing 787-9, and that was going to take us on our 7-hour flight down to Singapore. So my wife and we made our way down to seat 25K. Here's the view of our new plane. And that is actually our old plane there. Shortly after takeoff, ANA came around with their meal service. I think it was the barbecue pork or chicken, I can't remember, but it was a very good meal. We were very tired at this point that we were just trying to go to sleep, but ANA treated us very well. They had a great meal for us. They were very friendly, super apologetic, so kudos to ANA. We have nothing but the highest things to say about them, especially after a weird diversion and all that kind of stuff. So they treated us great and everybody else great. And then here you can see this is the route that we took down to Singapore. We went east of Taiwan, over the Philippines, down over the South China Sea, and then into Singapore Changi Airport. And then shortly before landing, ANA came around with a little snack, a bottle of water, and as well as a wet towel. And I can't remember what the snack was, but it was good. And then after we landed, here's our first shots of Singapore Changi Airport. We made our way down to immigration and passport control, which was very quick and very easy. Here we are post passport control. I wanted to say that sorry I didn't get the landing video. That was because ANA, once again, they leave their lights on takeoff and landing, and there was just horrible glare and it wouldn't have been a good video at all. But so post passport, we walked over to baggage claim, which is just absolutely beautiful, and this is where our journey ends. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I've got more content coming for you guys soon. Thank you.